Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the White Sands Self-Care Community. I am your host and resource for self-care, connections, and collaborations. And today we have with us Karen DeLoach. She is an artist, an art mentor, and a creative specialist, and she runs a program, Art as Self-Therapy, Wellness Through Creativity, which is, to me, is just fascinating. And she's joining us from South Carolina today. So, Karen, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, that is such an interesting take. So tell me, how is art self-therapy?
Well, that's a really good question because, as an artist, you don't think about it. You don't realize what it's doing. And as an art teacher, and especially as a homeschooler, I was working with all ages, all skill levels, and lots of people that had mental health issues, for instance, or physical health issues or reading issues. And as a result of that, I found that working with them brought them an incredible victory in their lives, something that they could succeed at that maybe they couldn't succeed at reading yet, but they could succeed in the arts. And what happened is this release of serotonin that working with your hands does, working with art does, made them feel better about themselves, no matter what age. This kind of victory and success help them in the other areas of their life. So that was just exciting to see. And then I started studying about right brain, left brain, and finding all of these fascinating things that I was seeing in practice actually has a scientific background to it too.
Yeah, I would imagine it gives them a way to kind of express themselves too, which I would think would help release some of that serotonin.
Absolutely, absolutely. It gives them voice to whatever they're feeling or thinking. And I work very strongly with foundations and getting their skills built up, which gives confidence and helps them, really find a way through whatever challenges they may have. And of course, that's true for the rest of us that maybe don't have those kind of challenges. Art as self-therapy, there's a wellness connection to our soul, our mind, our will, and our emotions, because art brings benefits that you may not see on the paper. It's not just about what the product is, but it's also about what it's doing inside of our own heart and mind. And that's what I find exciting too.
Right.
It's not just about the product, because a lot of people fight performance issues or perfectionism, those kind of issues, and find it frustrating unless they gain those skills, which mentoring really, really helps them do, or getting good classes, good instruction, building their skill levels to where they do get that confidence. And then they have that ability, like you were saying, to express themselves, what they're really feeling. And it's just a lifelong skill that never goes away, like riding a bike. You can always get back on that bike.
What would you say to people that think that they have to be an artist to do art therapy?
That is such a good question, because I believe we all have creative gifts, every one of us. And, we're created by the Creator and created in His image. So some way there is in our gifted right brain creativity for that person. That may not be painting or drawing. It may come out in music or singing or dance or writing poetry or other kinds of writing or weaving or knitting. There's so many ways. Athletics too can bring a lot of the same benefits. First lesson I have is eye-hand coordination, which you get through catching and throwing a ball. One of the first things we do with our little toddlers is throw them a ball, or roll a ball to them and see them roll it back, or our puppies. We want our puppies to catch and fetch. It's the same kind of thing, but it's connecting our brain to both our left and our right brains, because all these interconnections make us more brilliant. We have a school system that really rewards left brain. It's much more easy to test on whether someone's memorized a list or memorized their spelling, or you can quantify logic and order and that kind of problem solving. So you ask 5-year-olds, hey, how many of you like to do color or draw or dance or maybe act out in the playground? And they all love to do these things, or do some percussion. But by the time they're 15, maybe 10% are interested in any kind of right brain activity. What happens? Did they lose that ability? No. What happens is the rewards of the left brain kind of squash the right brain, or somebody said you can't draw, or that inner voice that can tell you that you can't do it because nobody's taught you how. You believe that. And how many adults say, I can't draw a stick figure? But when I challenge adults to do it, they're amazed at what they can do and how it makes them feel. And that's where the healing comes in.
And that's got to be fascinating to kind of help people get that back. So if I'm understanding you right, basically the right side of our brain is the creative side. But since we always get rewarded, or you always want the good grades to get this, whether it's the honor system or whatever, you're saying those rewards build up and we just kind of quash the others.
Absolutely. And our right brain is very sensitive. I had an experience. So I went to art college and I didn't feel like I was very talented, but I had a passion and interest in it. And I love theater, which is also in the arts. So I went and took art, and I was learning. I had good drawing instruction. I was gaining confidence, and then hit painting classes. And I was a painting major. And those critiques were brutal. And my right brain didn't survive it. I didn't realize what they were doing at the time, but I could not finish a painting for the next 20 years.
Oh,
I
wow.
switched to three-dimensional art and did ceramics and sculpture. And I tried to paint because I still had that desire, and I had no confidence. I kind of came into agreement that I'm just not good enough. And I think a lot of people suffer from that. And I got to get some mentoring from an old school art teacher from the Chicago Art Institute, who taught me how to paint, how to use the color wheel, how to mix and match colors, which is all techniques that I teach my students. And it gave me the confidence and the knowledge I needed and the training to get better and be able to finally become an award-winning painter. So it's very rewarding when you get the right teaching and get to heal that right brain. I'm so sorry, right brain, I spot you. It's sensitive, it's intuitive, it's gentle. It's the part that really women, we kind of excel at this. I feel like that might be a good deal. If others will listen to their still small voice kind of speaking to that's coming through the right brain. And that's everybody has access to their right brain.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because now that I think about that, see, I always just thought I kind of lost it because I got busy and I got caught up in that whole new rat race. Because I used to love woodworking. I would do cross stitch. I like the counted ones. I don't like ones that are pre-printed. And I used to draw up my own designs for different stuff, but I haven't done it in years. And I enjoy it. I mean, I had always enjoyed it, but now it's like you feel like you have to make time for it or something. But that's a different perspective. The fact that, we just kind of let it get squashed. So,
well,
yeah. So
the good news is it's never too late.
Yeah. How do you go about re-engaging that right side of your brain, and how can that make a difference in your life?
Oh, that's such a good question. And that's what I specialize in as a creativity specialist, is taking people through 15, maybe 18 minutes a day is really all it takes to engage in some form of creativity. Not only does it release that happiness hormone, but it also starts igniting that right brain again. And you find that there's some problems that just come to you that weren't there before. Even left brain problems can be solved from that right brain brilliance, because it is still there. It never went away. And yes, we can simply, in very simple ways, make small steps to, engaging that part of us again. And the result is joy, an increasing feeling of joy. And there's a legacy that, when you make something, I know when anybody that's made something for me, I'm not a woodworker, but if you were to give me a shelf, that would be precious. Not just the books I put on it, but, gosh, that's something that Laura made me, and it becomes precious. I tell you, my family, they would never expect a store-bought gift from me. If it's not made out of clay or a painting or a drawing, they're going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, I understand that, or can relate to that, because I have a light switch plate. I have a 3-legged table that I lathed when I was younger. I have my chessboard, a mini checkerboard.
Wow.
Everything I made from junior high, still have.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That. My mother
I had learned in cross stitch to actually start putting my initials in it, kind of like they do on quilts, to say, hey. Wow. And for me, it was just a sense of pride and look what I did. And I accomplished it. But Yeah, it's something I'd love to. Yeah, you're right. It would only takes a few minutes, but we seldomly don't even make time to do that, kind of stuff. But
Well, we
so is
don't
that
even
what you're
know.
saying? The
Yeah.
release of serotonin kind of feels like?
Absolutely. And we don't realize what we're missing. It feels like a mountain when you can just take a few steps at a time, and get into it slowly but surely and start getting into the habit of it, whatever. Like I have two little grandchildren in Germany, so I'm every day 15 minutes in the morning, and I study my German because I'm going to go visit them this fall, and then I want to be able to speak to them. Yes, I want them to learn English too. They got English American fathers, but they're German mothers, and they're in Germany. They're speaking German all day long, so I will speak English with them, but I want to learn to understand them. So just 15 minutes a day, they said that's the best way to do it, not cramming and trying to put in a lot of time at it. It's so time isn't really the issue. It's putting it on the schedule. It's making a point to take part of your day. And it really is, sowing into your own being, into your own soul. And will reap huge dividends for everyone. And I love that there's science. They now have a field called neuro arts. And I'm not an art therapist. I've just found the beauty of how art does therapeutically bring wellness to us. We feel more, have greater well-being. And one other aspect, and I know we have only a couple more minutes, is that in this AI invasion that we're all experiencing, and I absolutely love it, but I know to some people it's terrifying. Am I going to lose my job? How can I keep up with a computer? But computers will never replace our brilliant right brains. They do not have the creative, insightful part of humans that we always will beat them every time in. So I say that to encourage everyone.
Oh, even when I was younger and I used to write computer programs, everybody used to get horrified. The computer's doing this. It's only as smart as the information you put in it. We're feeding it the information. It needs the information, from us.
That's
So
right.
yeah, and anything can be overdone. I personally love AI myself too, but I use it responsibly. I don't have it take over my world and have it, do everything so I don't have to do anything. Just sometimes it helps put words in a little bit better. When you're not in that so creative mindset, but you're under a timeline, it's really it kind of helps spark. You can use it the right way.
Absolutely. When I've used Chat GPT for putting words together, I'm making a flyer because I've got a big workshop that we're doing in December, and it just put the words I thought, oh, I hadn't thought about putting those two words together. So it actually sparks and inspires your creativity and in your imagination. So I think it's just another great tool, and we just need to keep ahead of it with it inspiring our right brain. So thank you so
And
much.
and that's a good point. You're doing a workshop then in December, because that's right around the holidays. So
I
what does
know.
that look like?
Yeah. It's crafting vision. Thank you, Chat GPT. Crafting vision. So it'll be a combination of teaching and hands-on, which will have a online component because people can still do art online, which we've all learned the last few years, right? How to use Zoom for everything, including art training. And that's been a great tool. And so thank you for that title, but it's a combination of teaching and hands-on. So every exercise will have a teaching, and then we'll do different multimedia, including using Play-Doh hands-on sculptural things to reinforce each teaching. So we'll practice what we preach, as I preach
Oh
hands-on.
yeah.
So yeah, but people can reach
No.
me through my website if that's okay to say,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
www.KarenDeLoachArt. Yeah, KarenDeLoachArt.com. Yeah, that's my website. And I'd love to talk to anybody that wants to find out more or learn more or find out if we'd be a good fit or how they can be engaged in their creative side too. www.KarenDeLoachArt.com, and we can talk. Be awesome.
And we will put that in the comments. I'll make sure that's in the comments again, so everybody will know how to contact you. And if you wouldn't mind, when you get a chance, to put your workshop that you're doing in December, post it in the group so that people know and they can join if they like.
Thank you
I think
so
it's,
much.
especially around the holidays, I think that's a great thing to do, to tap in more into that side, because I know a lot of us, it's a mental challenge to get through the holidays
Yeah.
sometimes. So I think it's a good time to do that.
I'm going to talk about letting go of all the hardships of 22, 23, all these hardships, and really seizing and embracing, the vision and purpose for 2024 and moving forward. And yeah, and including creativity in your world coming up. So yeah, that's part of the purpose of it. So thank you.
That is awesome. Karen, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, anytime you have those workshops, please share them with the group. I think that's something everybody could use to tap into. And
Thank
we know
you.
we could all use some better mental health and a better state of mind.
Amen.
So
Thank you so
really
much.
appreciate it.
It was a joy.
Um,
God bless.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I know I actually have a double header today, so I'll see you a little bit later. But we do want to invite you to click subscribe to the White Sands Self-Care YouTube channel, so that way you can catch this interview and any others that you might have missed, because we do love providing those resources, connections, and collaborations. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you all shortly. Okay.
That was fun.